Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. Back in the good old US of A, smelling that beautiful air of freedom. Still extremely jet lagged, but I'm good today. The trick is not taking naps when you come back from an 11-hour time difference. And I totally fucked that up. I took like a 4-hour nap this afternoon. So I'm going to be up all night long. But the good thing is I feel good to do the Autumn Windbags today. So this is my sacrifice for all y'all. You're welcome. Not a zombie.
You're kind of a zombie because you pointed the wrong direction when you introduced me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we're on opposite sides.
Yeah. All right.
So
you want to fix? You want? Hang on. You want to fix that? Hold on a second. Let's fix that.
Here we go. Fix it. Look at this. Look at this trick. Ready for some TV and radio magic? Bam! Look at that. Yeah. That's
We're back. We're back.
It's like sleeping on the opposite side of the bed. Like it's really weird if I'm not on this side and you're on the other side.
So like, you know, like everyone else in the freaking free world, like my bed is perpendicular to my TV in my room, right?
Yes.
So I can't watch TV the same direction as I sleep. Mm-hmm. If I'm watching TV in my room, I have to sleep like this way or lay down this way in the bed.
You lay perpendicular, so you're on your side to watch TV?
Yeah, I'm on my side, like watching TV that way. I can't lay like watching TV on my back. I'll fall asleep like that.
Your chiropractor go nuts. That's the case.
Yeah. He keeps telling me don't sleep on my side anymore. But I have to, man. I can't sleep any other way.
You just said you'd fall asleep if you slept on your back.
No, but when I sleep at night, I just always end up on my side for some reason.
You got to do the TV on the ceiling if you have neck problems, because then you can watch TV like that and fall asleep that way.
What am I going to do with the mirrors?
And then, well, that's even better. So you can just put like a good-looking person up there. So as you're like banging a chick, you can put up a porno of like a good-looking guy, so she has something better to look at.
Oh,
see, this is what happens when you've been. I
don't really care about her.
10 years. Yeah. So question of the day, and we will put this question down pinned in the comment section. Very curious what you guys think. How many games will the Raiders win in this upcoming 5-game stretch? And we ask about this upcoming 5-game stretch specifically for this reason. Thank you, Raider Post, for the graphic. The next 5 weeks, weeks 8 through 12, we play at New Orleans, at Jacksonville, Indianapolis, at Denver, at Seattle. So
a lot of road games.
4 road games, 2 in the Eastern time zone. However, if you count the NFL power rankings for whatever you feel it's worth, the Jags are 29th, Broncos 27th, Colts 26th, Saints 21st, Seahawks 15th. So that's 4 teams out of the top 20 that we're going to play, and then an average Seahawks team. Again, for whatever it's worth, they have the Raiders 13th at 2-4. So again, whatever it's worth. But what are the chances we run the table? Do you think we'll win 3 out of 5? Let's say you, Soto. How many games will the Raiders win in this next 5-game stretch from Saints, Jags, Colts, Broncos, Seahawks?
It's hard to win in the NFL anyway. It's even harder to win on the road.
Yeah.
I would say if we go 3-2, this is a pretty look. The teams aren't great, but it's just hard to win on the road, man. That last Seattle game seems pretty tough. We don't know what we're going to get out of this New Orleans team or even the Jacksonville team. You know, it's a lot of question marks, man. I would say if we do a 3-2 and we're like 5-6 heading into the final stretch, I think that'll be pretty good. I'll take a 4-1. I don't know if we can go 5-0. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but it's just that's a lot of away games we're playing here. But running games are like toothbrushes, man. They travel well. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a good running game, you got a good running game everywhere.
I thought you were going to say because you can fashion it into a shiv if you're in prison, but that's also a good analogy.
It's, it happens. Well yeah.
So, I mean, 5-0 is within, it's within striking distance, but it's going to take a lot of luck, right? I mean, and we're starting to kind of get it, right? New Orleans, we'll get to that preview here later in the show, but like they are decimated at cornerback. Andy Dalton's their starter now. Colts now, quarterback anarchy. Russell Wilson in Denver is just like doing lunges in airplane aisles and being like a total weirdo. And I'm sure his teammates are like already completely sick of him as much as we are. There's a lot of like quarterback problems in this 5-game stretch, and that's the last thing in the world. Like every single team, like imagine, I don't want to put it out there, but like imagine if Derek Carr gets injured for the rest of the season, right? Like half of Raider Nation's like, all right, season's over, and that's how most teams are. If QB1 goes down, they're like, all right, this season's a mess. And there's 3 of these 5 teams have massive quarterback issues. So again, it's going to take some luck. Like you said, all those road games count. But I do feel like even with the injuries and, like Waller can't get healthy and Hunter keeps getting concussions, and we'll get to we got 4 players sick this week. I'll miss practice on Wednesday. I still feel like this is a team that's going to get better as the season goes on because it's so young and because the systems are so new. The offensive line is the best example of that, which again, we'll get to in a little bit, but this is a team that should improve as the season goes on, unlike the older teams.
It should. And the reason why is I think we've hit our stride. And I think that it's a lot more difficult to stop a sound running attack than it is to stop a passing attack, because you can trick offensive linemen when they're going backwards a lot easier than you could trick them when the offensive linemen are moving forward. So it's a kind of a matter of I know where I'm going in the running game, but in the passing game, I don't know who's coming at me. They could stunt. They can do all kinds of crazy blitzes. I don't know what's going on. It's a lot easier if you don't know your assignment moving forward. So that's why I say, man, you pack a good running game on the road. And, yards per carry, New Orleans is kind of towards the middle high part of the pack in the late teens, early 20s, low 20s. Surprisingly, so is Denver and Seattle. But Jacksonville and Indianapolis, they're I think tied for 4th for yards per carry per game, their run defense. So it's not going to be smooth sailing just because, let's just run the ball. Well,
the Colts and Broncos should be slam dunks. Those should be slam dunks. I don't like
when you say shit like that, man. Because
I was right last week. I told you we're gonna blow out the Texans. You're like, no, we're not going to.
Through three quarters.
Doesn't matter. Final score.
Bro,
Final score is all that matters.
You know what's so funny? When it's something that you want to talk about and you want to emphasize, it's for so many part of the season, so and so did this, this, and this. Well, yeah, it's not the whole fucking game, right? It's not the whole season. But
if I'm looking for reasons to be optimistic, then it's all right, let's isolate what's working and the trajectory we're going. I didn't say we were gonna win a bunch of points early or a bunch of points late. I said we're gonna blow them out, and you just simply can't acknowledge that I was 100% right, and you're poo-pooing my take that it was 100% right. Hurts your soul. Just acknowledge.
I don't care if you're right or wrong. I like that we won. I don't like that you're saying that games are slam dunks, because there's no slam dunks.
Well, I'm going to, because I hit a slam dunk last week, and you should be happy that I'm saying Colts and Broncos will be slam dunks, because I'm 100% in my claims when things are slam dunks. So you should be happy. 2 slam dunks at least. I think 4-1 is doable. 5-0 is going to take a lot of luck.
5-0, we have to do a lot. We have to play like we did in the second half. And I hear a lot of the stuff about play calling and this and that. The first half, we fucked ourselves with penalties. And when you play,
how many penalties did we have in the first half? Because we only had 5 the whole game.
We had 4, and they were all on early downs to get us in.
Fuck up a run game.
Fuck up our run game. We couldn't use it. We weren't doing well in the pass game early. A lot of checkdowns, a lot of short passes, and we ended up punting the ball a lot. So
we still have yet to put together 4 complete quarters. Yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's one of those things where it's you don't learn that or unlearn that. I don't feel that's one of those things that's a trait, like a hard trait. I think there's a randomness to it. Eventually, we're going to put together 4 complete quarters, right? And at that point, I don't know who can beat us, right? We're super inconsistent. We still almost beat everybody, right? We had the Chiefs on the ropes. We had Chargers on the ropes. We had everybody on the ropes at some point, right? But we had put together a quarter and a half that was shit, or a whole half that was shit, right?
When you throw your fundamentals out the window, you got a fighter that you're fighting on the ropes, and you start just winging for headshots, you're going to leave yourself open for a counter. Mix in a body shot every now and then. Keep your balance. Don't wing too wide. Like, you already got him hurt. You just got to hit him now, right? And I think, and I was saying it in the Good, Bad, and the Ugly video, if we just keep things basic and run our offense, we have enough players to be able to make plays within that offense. I used Davante Adams as an example. We got a penalty that brought us back to like third and 12, a short kind of a dump off pass to Davante Adams, and he made the individual effort because he's the player that he is to get us to a 4th and 1. We tried it. They jumped off. The defense did a neutral zone infraction, and then we got the first down. But without that individual play on it, just a dump off, let me just get the ball out of my hand type of play. It's individual efforts because you do have those types of players on the team that can do that. Just stay basic. Don't try to do too much. Takes what the defense gives you. And sometimes the defense is going to give you, like in the Chiefs game, a shot down the field. So people think that when you say take what the defense gives you, that's like, oh, just dump the ball down. No, sometimes they're going to give you a shot down the field.
2 slam dunks. We should go 4-1. 5 wins in the next 5 games is possible, but it's going to take some luck. It's going to take some serious luck. All right, what do you guys predict? Down in the comment section, how many games will the Raiders win in their 5-game stretch? So we got a beef that I didn't know existed, but I'm kind of enjoying it. Iggy Azalea performed at the halftime in the Texans game, and Tashawn Reed of The Athletic tweeted this: the combination of Allegiant Stadium trying to make barbecue and Iggy Azalea performing at halftime is going to make me depressed. Okay. I didn't know Iggy could depress people, or that barbecue could. I mean, you could just not watch the halftime show and not eat the barbecue, but teach their own. Vegas is an amazing food city, by the way, for those who haven't been.
It is very good.
I mean, all you can eat sushi, dim sum, barbecue, a million steak restaurants, fusions. I just saw this Hawaiian Mexican fusion restaurant that I'm going to try. It's got like 20,000 followers on Instagram. Like, it's an amazing food city. So this idea is like, oh man, I can't believe Vegas is trying barbecue. It's like the world's best chefs go to Vegas because that's where the money is. Like, you could be the best barbecue in Alabama, and there's a good chance you're probably going to make your way to Vegas at some point. So this whole idea of like, Vegas trying barbecue. I'm disgusted. I know Sean Reed went to Missouri, right? So I they got their pride, but
misery.
That's you're picking a fight you can't win.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's like at barbecue, it's kind of like pizza. Even when it's like not great, it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
it's
meat and heat.
Meat and open fire heat. Like I like, or smoke. I'll take it.
Yeah. So anyway, kind of a nothing tweet until Iggy Azalea herself subtweeted: if you think you're depressed now, I'll spare you the tears you'd cry knowing what my paycheck was to come and jiggle a little ass.
First off, that ain't a little ass, number one. That's a big old ass. I'm not complaining either. But I don't understand people who take jobs and then complain about the pay. It's like you knew what the pay was when you took the job. Like, if you don't like the pay, then don't do the job.
Well, she's not complaining about the pay. She's saying, you think you hate what I do? I'm getting paid so much money, you'd cry for this thing that you hate. Like, you can be depressed.
Are you sure she's saying that?
Yeah. If you think you're depressed now, I'll spare you the tears you'd cry knowing what my paycheck was to come and jiggle a little ass. So she's saying, oh, you think it's depressing that I'm performing? Wait till I tell you what these motherfuckers are paying me to do something that depresses
you. I took it the opposite way. Okay, my bad. Iggy, I'm sorry. I don't know you, or I can't name a word or a phrase of any song that you've done, and I'm not trying to slight you in any way. I am.
But you're back on the Christmas card list.
But you're back on the Christmas cards list because you're making a ton of money, and good for you.
And props to her for calling it what it is. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm not to pick on Tashawn. Like, I read everything The Athletic puts out. Him and Vic Tafer.
They put out good stuff, man.
A lot of stuff, right? That's probably number one news source.
Yeah. Vic is amazing, dude. Friend of the program.
So, like, I like what Tashawn's work, but like, I think a lot of fans get really turned off by how like crotchety media gets. It's like, dude, you're doing what so many people pay a lot of money to do, and that's to sit in a great seat and watch the Raiders and then talk about it to an audience that wants to hear what you have to say. And so when those guys are crotchety, I think it turns off a lot of fans. Like, he's complaining about the food and the halftime show at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, the rocking game.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, look, I get it in some sense, because like our good buddy Adam Hill says, it's like it's hard for him to cheer for a team now because he does it for a living. And I mean, I understand where maybe doing that can kind of jade you a little bit, but whatever, man. You're getting free food and
he's independent media, right? So it's fine if he doesn't cheer for the Raiders. I have no issue with that. In fact, it's probably there's more journalistic integrity in not rooting for the actual team. But I don't know. I think
which we have none of,
right? I'm also really disappointed in Tashawn's reply. He just tweeted like a head shake surprise gif. It's like, all right, Iggy Azalea just tweeted at you clapping back. Not booty clapping back, verbally clapping back. It's like, all right, you're a wordsmith, Tashawn Reed. You are a figure in the media. You have a blue check mark. This is your chance. And he just
it's a no-win situation here, because ultimately,
are you kidding? It's a no-lose situation.
No. There's no reason, like when somebody basically shuts you down. Like, okay, you don't like my music, you think I suck? Well, you should see how much they paid me to freaking go out there and perform 2 songs. That's like, I would have done that. Or what he did, I would have done that. Like,
just take the L.
Cool. Just take it and go on. Because there's nothing that you can say that's going to be like, well, I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the sound of me flapping my freaking wad of cash in my ear.
It is when you're a wordsmith, though. Like, you are a professional writer. Like, you are on, like Tashawn Reed's on Twitter 10 hours a day.
The only thing that's going to help him if he tries to like take the high road, well, I listen to fucking classical music all the time. I don't listen to your stuff. It's going to come off bad, dude. You just take the L and move on.
No, you don't. You come back. Like, didn't Iggy
what? You're a wordsmith. Let's hear it.
Didn't she fall off because she got cheated on by a Laker?
Yeah, Nick Young, Swaggy P.
How do you not bring that up? He's like, I don't know. I was talking with Swaggy P the other day, and he's very intimate with your finances. Why don't you go there?
I think you should. I think the better thing would have go the D'Angelo Russell route, the guy who like outed fucking Nick Young.
Yeah,
that would have been better. But
I asked D'Angelo Young, and he knows so much about you guys, about your intimate life.
Yeah, funny thing is, D'Angelo Russell knew what you were getting paid before you did. Oh damn!
Oh, see, like there's stuff there.
That's not cool.
There's stuff there.
That's not cool, man. That's not.
Well, look, Tashawn opened the door. I know he didn't expect Iggy to like come back, right? So he's like caught with his pants down.
It's check mark for check mark, bro. What do you want?
Look, if you say something, you stand by it, right? If you say something, you stand by it, and not they came back at me. I'm gonna cower and shrimp away. Like in radio, I've been doing radio 13 years. Like, that's such a bitch move. If you say something, like everything you say on the radio, you need to be able to assume that the other person's hearing it or the other person's in their room. You need to be able to say to the face of whoever you're talking about. And Tashawn just like, I'm just going to tweet this into the ether. Some people will like it. Oh, wait, Iggy said something back? Oh, I better cower away. I better slink. What he should have done was posted the gif of that Homer Simpson going backward into the bushes.
Into the bushes, yeah.
That was more accurate. And this is the kicker. Mr. Wordsmith Tashawn. I guess technically Iggy's a wordsmith too, right? Rapper.
Yeah, she is.
She tweeted this on an article about their beef that's going on. And she said, he made a joke and I made a joke. It's really not serious at all. So please relax. Your drama boner is showing and it's too small to tuck in your belt. That's a fucking great line.
Iggy got 2 dubs back to back.
That's a great line.
That's 2 dubs back to back. Iggy, you got my respect, homegirl. Keep doing what you're doing. Fucking, you're getting that bag. Fucking continue to do your shit.
I'm gonna start listening to Iggy Azalea music now. Like, I like her now. Like, I enjoy this back and forth.
I like that fuck it attitude. Like, you know what? You don't like me. I'm not for everybody. It's cool.
That line is so great too. Hey Soto, your car hating boner is showing, and it's too small to tuck in your belt. Like, God, you can put it there. Now do me next.
Your actual boner is showing, and it is actually too small to fit in your belt.
See, it's so flexible. You can do anything with it. That's my new favorite line.
I like it. Let's use it.
Um,
Next T-shirt, drama boner.
So off to some good news. The Raiders are coming off back-to-back great offensive games, right? 38 against the Texans. What they score against
Chiefs?
Chiefs was like
29,
and then 31 against Broncos in the 30s.
No, I think it was 29 again.
29 again? Okay. So around 29, right? The Raiders are currently third in points per game, behind only the Chiefs and the Bills. 27.2 points per game. Third. This is awesome, considering, we were so mad at Josh McDaniels' play calling. We've gone like entire halves without points. The O-line started off so trash. Obviously, we're 2-4, which are up, which is awful.
32 against the Broncos. My bad.
How many? 32. Yeah, I knew I was in the 30s. Anyway, 27.2 points per game. There's nobody the Raiders can't score against. Behind, again, only 2 points per game behind the Bills and 4 points per game behind the Chiefs. Awesome offense we got rolling right now. And not only that, it's super well balanced. 11th in rushing yards per game, 12th in passing yards per game. So it's not even just like, oh, well, Josh Jacobs is carrying this team. It's like, no, he's playing lights out, but we're super balanced. 11th in rushing, 12th in passing. This is great, right? So who gets the credit? Why is this offense firing on all cylinders and only behind two of these like prolific decade, like once in a decade type offenses?
I think it's like a jambalaya, type. It's just a lot of different things, and each component that you're putting into the stew is cooked perfectly.
Yeah,
we have we're calling a better game as far as using our running back more. We're giving our offensive line more confidence. We're giving them a little bit of maybe a fraction of a second because we're running the ball so well. Maybe the pass rush isn't as juice to get us late in the games. We're wearing these teams down. Offensive line was run blocking pretty well. Josh Jacobs is playing out of his freaking mind. So when a player does get through, he's able to make him miss. He made a jump cut in the hole with two people on him, and he was able to get out of it. And I'm like, how the hell did he do that? He's playing like a top running back in the league. He's not playing like a good running back. He's playing like one of the tippy top guys. Mm-hmm. There's the fact that over the last 3 games, because of the running game, our pass blocking has improved. Derek Carr has received just over 3 seconds on average per drop back. And that's a couple things. It's play action. It's moving the pocket. It's just giving them more time. Like I said, late in the game, you're wearing down the defensive line. You're slowing them down a little bit. So there's
the biggest holdover from Gruden's touch on Carr is him moving in the pocket. Like you watch some of the highlights from the Texans game of him zipping around and buying time. Like that was not Carr 3 seasons ago, and it's part of his game now.
Yeah, and he's moving around, looking downfield still. He's not moving around, looking to throw it to a back or something, right? He does plenty of that, but he's looking downfield. And there's also, our wide receivers. Not only are they blocking really well, Matt Collins is a fucking beast blocking. I think he played almost every single snap, offensive snap. But also we have the lowest drop rate. I think it's like 1.4% of our passes. We're dropping 1.4%.
And that's with Darren Waller. Imagine how much better everyone else is catching.
Yeah. And so that's
with Waller dropping touchdown passes everywhere.
We're just making one. He dropped one. Relax.
He dropped two.
We're making plays. We're making the simple play, and we're letting our players execute. It's all about execution. Everyone's executing well, but in that execution are these little things. We're running the ball better. We're giving our offensive line more confidence. We're wearing down the defense, which allows us more time to throw, and we're not dropping the passes when we're getting thrown.
All those things contribute, but that's been, I feel like, a staple of the Raiders for a while, right? They've been a pretty balanced offense, throughout the entire season, right? Like for last season, it was just Carr throwing for 400 yards. At the end of the season, it was just Jacobs running for 1,000,000 yards. So like it evened out over the season, but it came in chunks, which is fine. Like you take what the defense gives you. We've had playmakers for a while. To me, it's two things, but I also have a caveat. One, it's the line is improving. It started off absolutely trash. And it's not even like they found their 5. They're still rotating dudes constantly. Guys are still getting hurt, but they're run blocking better. The pass blocking improved. They still give up a pressure a third of the dropbacks, but it's better than it was. And the run blocking, they've really found their stroke. So that the line's improved, which is big. And two, I think the biggest one is we're not turning the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
Other than game 1 against the Chargers, we have one turnover. Is it one turnover only? The Titans interception where it bounced off Waller's hands. Is that it for turnovers?
Since week 1, yeah, I believe so.
Since week 1, right? When Renfro's fumble against the Cardinals.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
no, that was before. That was before week
Chargers.
2.
No, that was the Cards. That was overtime against the Cardinals.
Yeah, overtime. Okay.
So so I think it's 2 turnovers in the last 5 weeks. That's awesome. That's amazing.
We've had as many turnovers as we've had defensive touchdowns.
That's awesome.
Pretty
the last 5
good.
games, right?
Yeah.
Again, the first game still counts, but that's huge. That is massive. That is such a big deal. And that was the Achilles heel of this offense for a long time, right? Like guys are fumbling all the time. Carr's throwing picks. Now it's like Jacobs doesn't drop the ball. Carr is not a turnover machine anymore. Like I think that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest part of that, which is even more like frustrating that we're not turning the ball over at all. So we should be giving the defense good field position, and the defense is still just giving up points left and right, right? Yeah. And we're scoring the 3rd most points per game with a trash defense that can't get off the field. So just like we have nowhere near as good as a defense as the Bills and Chiefs, and they're putting up all those points. Like imagine if we had the Chiefs or Bills defense, what our points per game would be. Like we're the ones getting takeaways. We're the ones getting 3 and outs. And now we're the ones scoring. Like this is arguably the best offense in football if you consider all the things they have to overcome, right? And they were without Waller for most of the game, without Hunter for multiple games. The offensive line took forever to get their shit together. And still we're 3rd in points per game. That's wild.
I mean, to jump on that defense thing, like I talked about, we needed to be more aggressive, right? Which we were, and we created turnover opportunities for ourselves because we're just not good. I mean, to show you how poor of an effort we had in this respect. Houston entering the game, they were second to last in the NFL at 29% 3rd down conversion rate. They were 60% against us. So they were twice as good as they've been. And it's not like a small sample, like 1-2 games. It was like 6 games. They haven't had their bye yet. So it's 6 games.
No, they did. They had same we did. It was 5
games.
Did?
Oh,
yeah.
So 5 games. But yeah, 29% conversion rate on 3rd down, and then they play us, and they're 9 for 15. Not great. And that's what hurt us in the first half.
So with all that being said, all these great things that this offense is doing, and it's putting up crazy points, right? This is what I'm worried about, though. Is this just smoke and mirrors? Is this just small sample size, bad defenses? Like the Texans are trash, right? That's why we put up 38 on trash defense. Okay. Cardinals defense, trash, right? Not good. Denver, good defense, and we still put up a lot of points. But is this who we are? Or did we just get hot and catch guys not acknowledging Jacobs? Did we catch defenses that are just bad? Or is this who we are? Like, do you think at the end of the season, we're still going to be 3rd in points per game?
I think it's who we are. And I'll tell you why. The last 3 games when we scored the most points in the season is the 3 games where we made a concentrated effort to run the ball more. Mm. And we played Denver, we played Kansas City, and we played Houston. So we played a really good defense, an above average defense, a fringed outside of top 10, maybe in the low teens defense, and then we played a poor defense. And it didn't matter. Our game plan still worked to put up a lot of points. Mm-hmm. So if you can run the ball in this league, because look, how many teams out there can just throw a quarterback on the field and tell them, win us this game by yourself and win consistently? There's like two. It's Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. That's it.
That is a mutant quarterback I never want to have to face.
I never want to see ever. So those are the two in the league right now who are throwing the ball around the field with no running game and winning. Everyone else, like look at how poor the Bays played. Tampa Bay that can't run the ball, they can't win. They got freaking beat by the fucking Panthers, beat them. And Green Bay can't run the ball, and they're losing with Aaron Rodgers, a 2-time reigning MVP. So it's like you have to be able to run the football, and it makes everything easier. It's just like basic, but we think that, oh yeah, we have to pass the ball more to score more points. No, we have to make it easier for us to pass, and we do that by continuing to run the ball.
Well, the Buffalo Bills are putting up 117 rushing yards per game. I mean, they're not. That's about average.
That's Josh Allen, dude. That's Josh. It's like the running. It's like him scrambling.
Okay, but it's still you're saying they can't run the ball. I mean, yeah, it's a big chunk of it, right? But they're
no. You're looking at a stat. You're looking at a stat and not looking at the game. It's Josh Allen running on scramble plays. It's not like we're running the football with a running game. That's not what they're doing.
I'm just saying. They have a running game that isn't non-existent. Chiefs, you're right. Chiefs
That's not a running game, dude. That's a guy scrambling because they can't run the ball.
How much of the yards are his versus running backs?
Let's take a peek. I'll take.
And how many of it? How many is it? Is his designed runs by Josh Allen, and just scramble runs by Josh Allen? You look that up. We can keep going.
Sure. Keep going.
I'm with you. Like I said earlier, I think this is an offense and a team in general that's just going to get better as time goes on because they're still learning new systems, still learning new players, still, adjusting to new coaches.
And that's the big thing. We're just going to get better.
Yeah. Like it's an offense that should be better. And it's also an offense of smart players like Carr, Hunter, Waller, Davante, Jacobs. Like these are really smart players. Like, there's players that are just like, all right, I'm just a pure athlete. Give me the rock and I'll be an athlete. And there's guys that are like, all right, like I'll learn this system and I'll get better in this system. So I'm with you. I'm hoping this isn't just a, little blip in the radar, right? Just kind of smoke and mirrors. But we'll see. So speaking of that offensive line.
Well, Josh Allen, just to your point, yeah. Josh Allen leads the team in rushing with 257 yards.
And how many of that, do you know how many of that's designed runs versus scrambles?
I would assume that most of them are going to be off scrambles. His design runs are not designed to like get big chunk yardage. He's like kind of a short yardage type of runner when it comes to that. But yeah, he has one more yard than Devin Singletary, who has 256 yards. So they're not a running team, dude. It's fucking Josh Allen.
I'm not saying they're a running team. You said they had no running game.
They don't have a running game.
It's not entirely accurate. So Jack Conklin, right tackle for the Browns, first rounder, 5 years ago, something like that. Anyway,
16,
something like that. According to Hondo Carpenter, he was asked in his mailbag any trade rumors of the trade deadline looming that you're hearing. He says, "I'm hearing some things while," and he puts this in all caps, "I am not reporting anything has done or even imminent. There has been some discussion about right tackle Jack Conklin from the Cleveland Browns. They are constantly looking to upgrade everywhere and to get rid of players that are not viable, blah, blah, blah." So no big surprise, right? That if the Raiders are going to look for anybody, it's going to be a splash at right tackle. That's been the thought for a while, but right now it just seems, and you're always trying to improve every position, but Mumford is playing pretty well at right tackle now. Like it seems like they may have found their right tackle. Is I would say 4 games ago, right tackle was the number one priority on improving, right? If there's one position we have to improve, we need another corner, need another safety, need a bunch of stuff. But there's one thing we're like, all right, what position do we need to improve on the most? We all would have agreed right tackle. Is that still the case?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Jack Conklin is a much better player than Thayer Munford. And if we're looking to win, then yes, Thayer Mumford is a guard and a tackle. He can play guard too. He played guard at Ohio State, so he can play both. So Alex Bars, how long is he going to stay with the team? He's kind of like our de facto starting right guard. How long is he going to stick around? Is he that much of an upgrade over Thayer Mumford at guard? We don't know. Maybe they're just making things easier on Thayer by keeping him at tackle. I know that Conklin's got a couple years left on his contract, right? Look, I think so. He has a couple years left.
In March of 2020, he signed a 3-year, $42 million contract.
So this year and next year.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, he would be with us for this season and next season.
No. This is his last. This is his last year.
Is his last year?
2020,
Oh, yeah,
21.
2023. Okay,
21,
you're
22
right.
is year 2. So it's 3 years, 12 million. I don't know exactly the number, but 42 divided by 3, that's 6.
Wow.
14 million bucks. So roughly $14 million will owe him this season. Now again,
prorated.
How much has he already been paid?
Yeah.
Salary cap.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
So
but
look,
he won't be cheap. He won't be cheap.
What? He's
got
a massive
roughly
upgrade.
$8 million in cap space right now.
So right now, what we're looking at is if we get Conklin in, he's in the realm of, compared to other right tackles in the league, he's a better right tackle than Miller is a left tackle compared to other right tackles in the league. He'd be a massive upgrade to what we have currently.
He went on IR twice last season. That would be the one thing where I'd say his availability isn't great. That's the one thing where I'd be like, yeah, skills wise, yeah, he'd be the best lineman on.
Yeah, he was a 2-time All-Pro, dude, like a first-team All-Pro, 2 times.
He'd immediately be the best lineman we have. I'm not doubting that. I'm saying his knock would be price tag, and he gets hurt. That would be the 2 knocks.
I mean, does he get hurt, or did he get hurt and come back? Was it the same injury? Did he get hurt and come back too fast?
2 different injuries.
Again? 2 different injuries. Got it. That's what I was wondering.
And IR, not like missed a game, like IR to start the season.
4 years, four
played
games,
one game. The game he came back, IR missed the rest of the season and surgery. So and then this is me negotiating with the Browns, right? Like I'm Dave Ziegler and we're negotiating for Conklin. It's like, dude, the guy breaks. Like there's a reason why you're letting go of him. You know what I mean? Like the guy breaks all the time. So what would you give for him? What would be the max, or what would you initially think you could get for him, and what would be the max you would go?
I offer a 6, maybe.
And let's say for sake of math, we owe $8 million. Just to pick a number.
I give him a 6, and maybe to sweeten it, I do like an earlier round swap. If we had a our third for their third type of thing, swap it to give them the better of the 2. However you could finagle that. I would go as high as a 5. But remember, we sent a center and got a 4, but that center was one of the best in the league, didn't have injury concerns, right? Great leader. So
more expensive,
but what you were looking for that team, that's what they need. They needed that guy in the middle to kind of anchor that line. And so I would say offer him a 6, maybe a pick swap, a 6 and a 3 for a 4 in Conklin or something like that. And maybe I would go up as high as a 5, maybe without the pick swap. But I wouldn't go any higher than that.
Now here's this question, and it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Let's assume our starting line with Conklin is Miller, Parham, James, Bars or Mumford, and then Conklin at right tackle.
Right now, I would think Mumford would still go in for
right
Bars.
Guard, right?
For Bars, yeah, I would, because
for sake of argument,
Mumford's the future. Mumford's the future, but yeah, I think they would still rotate him in
for the sake of argument. That's our starting line.
Got it.
At that point, who are you trying to replace? Like, who's the real weak link, right? Like Miller's shoe in, James shoe in. Parham is playing well, and he's a rookie. Like, you don't want to move on from him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of our line of the future. at that point.
Well, I mean, do you resign Conklin
right?
to a big deal, or do you try to get an upgrade in the draft and use that that Mumford experience and have him lock down one of the right side positions?
Well,
I don't know if Bars is a long-term answer. He's playing well with this line. He's not a long-term answer. So yeah,
but at that point, if we keep Conklin, then we're basically just a right guard short of the line we want, right? I mean,
right now, yeah. For going forward, I don't think we're going to resign Conklin. He's going to want too much money. But give Thayer Mumford that experience, still playing, still rotating in, and kick him over to tackle and maybe find a guard later in the draft or use one earlier to find a tackle. Who knows? You may find a gem. Like, dude, for a fourth round pick and a seventh round pick, we did pretty goddamn good with freaking Parham and Mumford.
Yeah, we're making them work. And it's crazy, right? Like, I'm like, oh my God, we got to completely rebuild our old line. It's so trash. But when you sit down and you're like,
not really.
Miller, Parham, and James, they've solidified. That's the left side of our line and center. Now it's just maybe
Mumford's getting better.
We have pieces that could be long-term solutions at right guard, right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
If not, that's where we know where to go. It's not as doom and gloom as we thought. It's starting to come together, at least for now. For 6 games in. Week 8, Raiders, Saints, heading to New Orleans. This is one of the games I would have wanted to go to really bad. Love New Orleans. Glad I went to Nashville.
Love the smell of throw up.
Oh yeah, just and it's not just normal throw up too. It's barf of like jambalaya and
God, it's like that sour
hurricanes.
That like acidy sweet, like when you drink too many shitty margaritas.
Yeah, it's like just
simple syrup,
like in red dye 40.
Oh, terrible.
It's like a bunch of like deep fried shrimp, just red dyed 40 all over the floor.
Fucking thick beignet, just puked everywhere.
Oh yeah,
my
it's my Graceland. Absolutely love it out there.
Love it.
They're coming off a bye. A pair of 2-4 teams. Both of us 2-4. NFC South still wide open. So even though they're 2-4, they're certainly they're not thinking next season. They're still thinking this season. Dennis Allen, coach. Remember, he drafted Derek Carr. Carr's playing against DA, not coach against him. Most important matchups in your eyes. Saints and Raiders. What are you looking at? Where's the game going to get won? Where's the game going to get lost?
So defensively, our linebackers being able to corral Kamara, I think is going to be a big one.
Alvin,
sock you in a club, Kamara.
What a dorky name for like a
fucking badass running back, dude. Yeah. He's so badass. I hope he gets traded before we play him. Yeah. But he's a legit player, man. He's still really, really, really good on a poor team. So they're going to want to ride him. So we got to corral him, make sure that we stay disciplined, because he's kind of one of those guys that's kind of has that sneaky speed where he gets a little wiggle, and next thing you know, he's 20 yards down the field. And he catches the ball a lot. They use him a lot in the passing game as well. So our linebackers against Alvin Kamara, linebackers and safeties, excuse me. Passing wise, I think Olave is really the only guy we need to worry about as far as a deep threat and hurting us. I don't know that Landry or Thomas are going to play. I don't think they're practicing.
Landry's missed the last 3 games with his ankle. Thomas has missed the last 4 games with a foot injury. Both of them did not practice on Wednesday. We're recording this Wednesday night, so it's
they're not.
It's very, very doubtful they're playing on Sunday.
Yeah, it's very doubtful they're going to play. If these guys are lower leg injuries, being a receiver, cutting and running their routes, you're going to want them to have a full week of practice if they're going to play in the game. So I wouldn't think they're going to play. So Andy Dalton is not that far away skill-wise in his prime to Derek Carr. I think now he's a little slower, a little older, maybe not as mobile as he used to be in the pocket, and his arm strength isn't as good as it used to be, and he throws a lot of interceptions.
Loves throwing pick sixes.
Pick sixes. He threw 2 in a row. But
it's a tradition there in New Orleans now, right?
Yeah,
Jameis Winston, he's like, I still love you, Jameis. You throw some touchdowns.
Yeah, so we have to hope for turnovers because they have the type of team that can hurt us.
Even without their two best wide receivers, right? And just Olave.
Olave's good, man, and Kamara's really good.
Kamara's good at the backfield as well, right? Like you run some good screens to him.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton is just decent enough to look good against this trash passing defense.
Yeah.
Right? Like
look at what Davis Mills did. 300 yards, fucking 2 touchdowns.
Dude, Davis Mills had a career day. The third most completions in his career, fourth most yards in his career, second most touchdowns in his entire career against the Raiders, right?
Yeah,
Over
man.
300 yards, too. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we can make trash quarterbacks look good. And so it's something to worry about, right? Even without Landry and Thomas.
And they have a tough defensive line. Their defensive line is really good. If we don't get behind, look, their secondary is in shambles. Their secondary is hurt. Like their top 2 corners are hurt. I think their nickel corner is hurt. They have a hurt safety. All they have is Tyrann Mathieu and a bunch of guys running around back there.
Marshawn Lattimore did not practice this week. Looks like he's not coming. And then Brandley Roby got carted off the field last week. He's on IR. So the good news is their running defense, not great. Passing defense used to be pretty good, but now their DBs are decimated. So this is a good opportunity. This is going to be a standard operating procedure for the Raiders.
Same game.
Two safeties are deep. All right, we're running. Oh, you're bringing a safety into the box because we're running so well? We're tossing the ball. It's basic day one offensive coordinator type matchup here. Like there's not we have 3. They don't have a single guy that can cover 3 of our receivers.
Yeah.
One-on-one. Not one guy. Not one of their DBs can cover Davante, Waller, or Hunter. And Waller practiced today. Who knows if he's going to play on Sunday? But they don't have a single guy that can cover. Probably not even Mac Hollins one-on-one. So if there's ever one-on-one coverage, ever, like a bump and run, like it's just like
They're not going to play
looks
bump
over.
run.
Just be
They're
like,
not going to
all
do
right.
that. They're going to go press and bail. If they do come, they're not going to want to bump and run with us. They're going to bail and into a zone. They're not going to do that because they know they can't. Our offensive line is going to be huge in this game. We have to be able to run the ball. And honestly, the defensive line is going to say, you know what? They're going to have a lot of fuck it in their system. They're going to say, fuck it. Our only chance is to create turnovers. So what do? We're going to just pin our ears back and we're going to tackle the running back on the way to the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So we got to make sure that we don't have any screw ups on the line because they have some good pass rushers on their line. And we got to make sure that we keep them in check because even though, Carr's good at getting the ball out quickly when he needs to, we don't want him getting hit because they got some good guys on there.
Really big play action screen game.
Big, it's got to be big. Short
should
game.
Be a really big play action screen game.
This would be a huge game for Waller if he was able to play. I think it might be a sneaky big game for Foster Moreau because he's going to be a kind of a safety blanket. He's going to be blocking a lot because of their pass rush, and he's going to sneak out late, kind of like what Kelsey did. I said his name. Fuck, I owe you $1. Kind of like what that tight end who remained nameless for Kansas City. Nameless? Yeah, that too. Who remain nameless did against last year against Max Crosby. He stayed in and blocked Max Crosby, and then he leaked out late. We should probably do that. Think about doing that with our tight ends.
Whoever our number 3 target, I think, is going to have a massive game because they have to bracket. They have to bracket our 1 and 2. No other way around it. If it's Davante and Waller and Hunter runs free, or Davante and Hunter and Mac Hollins runs free, like
Mac 10 can have a huge game.
Huge game. To bracket our top 2 targets. If any of our guys are 1-on-1, they're fucked. They're fucked.
When you have the type of matchup nightmare, because dude, I'm looking at Mac Hollins running routes. He looks like a freaking tight end. Mm-hmm. He's huge,
big boy.
Was like 6'4", 6'5", something like that.
You remember him in the back of the Uber Hunter called, and he's
his knees are right here,
scrunched. Yeah,
dude. So look,
it's like a stripper with a push-up bra.
Yeah, huge. These aren't my knees. So he's the type of player that if there's like a scramble play, he can just run deep because he can break off his route and just run deep and still be a pretty good option for you because he's so tall, he's so big, and so much bigger than a defender. So I could see him having a sneaky big game. The only thing is I don't care how good or how bad the Saints are. They're a ruckus crowd, going in there. You're traveling and
you're on the road.
On the road when you're going in there, because that is not a friendly place to play.
And we're gonna have to score a lot of points because they're still gonna score on us. Unfortunately, it's not gonna be a good game for the defense. Injury report, and there's a lot of them. Again, this is Wednesday. We'll see how things go on. The positive, Darren Waller limited. He hadn't practiced for a while. I was reading how against the Texans, he did the full warm-up. He was out there running routes, doing everything. So I have no doubt that he's actually injured and couldn't play that day, but he wasn't, on crutches. He wasn't limping. He was warming up legit and looked good. So that's a good sign. Limited today.
I think that's a good call too, man. Because look, he wasn't a huge part of the game plan because we didn't miss him. So
save him.
Just get him. Those hamstrings are really freaking funky. They can just pop out of nowhere. Just let it heal. If you know what, you went through warm-ups today. Do you feel 100%? No, I feel it. Okay, then no, shut it down. We'll get you 100%.
I love how our diagnosis is so much different after a loss than it is a win. And when he wins, it's like, nope, rest up. You're fine. We don't need you. We can make it work. After we lose, we're like, fucking Waller, can't you get out there? We need to have all hands on deck. Get better, pussy.
All hands on deck.
5 players did not participate. Davante Diablo is the only one with injury. Cleve Farrell, Tashawn Bauer, Davante Adams, Jonathan Abram, all sick. Did not practice because of illness.
All sucking each other's faces or what?
Right? Have they all got mono playing spin the bottle together?
Gross. Dude, look weird. At Davante Diablo. He got 2 things. My ankle and my back. My leg and my back.
And then the Saints, like we mentioned, Lattimore, Landry, Thomas, all likely not playing. They did not participate in practice. And that doesn't include guys on IR. So
Jameis Winston ain't playing either. He ain't starting.
He ain't starting. Yeah, he's out. The big one here, motivation-wise, Catherine Terrell, writer, tweeted out, last question to Alvin Kamara about Dennis Allen facing his former team as a head coach. He said, I actually forgot about that he did coach there. Shit. We're going to whoop their ass and make DA feel good. I hope this is printed up all over the Raiders facility as motivation. I hope this is giant projector screen before every single meeting. This quote.
You know why I like that? I like
2 and 4 teams saying, "Oh, we're going to whoop some ass." Come on.
I like that because I want you to feel confident going in. Because when we start whooping your ass, you have nothing to say. Mm-hmm. Say all you want right now. Talk about it. But when the game's actually going on and you're getting thumped, oh man, I thought we were going to whoop their ass. Shit, that was my Alvin Kamara.
I like Kamara. I really like Kamara. Raiders,
that guy he punched don't like him.
Right? I bet you he still likes him too. He's like, oh man,
I'm getting rich off this motherfucker. Shit.
Yeah. There's one thing I've learned: the best way to get rich is either get punched by an NFL player in the club, or run in front of them in the tunnel when they're leaving a game and get shoved. That's how you get rich.
So whack.
Without playing in the NFL. All right, ready to do some What Up Windbags?
Bro.
Ronnie Poley. If we are going to win a Super Bowl or 2, we need Jacobs, not trade him. So I love me some Jacobs. I did before this 3-game stretch. I did when we drafted him. And I did even when he got hurt. Love me some Josh Jacobs. Absolutely do. But if we get a good offer for him, a good right tackle, a good corner for a trade, some good draft picks, we have to take it. We have to take it. We can franchise him next season, and it'll be about $9.5 million, which we don't have and can't afford.
It's hard, man.
And only this, obviously he's playing fantastic. Obviously he's the best running back on our team. Obviously one of the best running backs in football. But are you telling me that Zamir White couldn't get close to replicating that same amount? That our running back room couldn't do 85, 90% of what Josh Jacobs is doing? I think so. I think they can do a little bit. And also, we're talking about this right now. He's still a ticking injury time bomb. Like, he hasn't gotten hurt yet, but he does every season. If we're getting value for him, are we moving on?
I don't know, man. Look, it's hard. It's hard to find a good running back in this league because there's so many backs, and there's backs that can do things well. But when you got a guy like Josh Jacobs, the way he's been running these last few games, that's why I said it's a hard thing, because a good line can make an average running back look good, right? Mm-hmm. But do we have a good line? I think a lot of the yards he's getting, he leads the league in yards after contact for a reason, because he's getting gaping holes to run through, like you love. You know, he loves gaping holes. He's getting hit.
Before you had to lube him up to get him through holes.
You got to spit on it and all that stuff. It's just weird. But right now, I mean, I just wanted the haul that the Panthers got for Christian McCaffrey. We're not going to get that. I just want everyone get that out of your head.
Sure.
The reason why the Niners paid that price was because the Rams were a late team coming in, trying to kind of undercut them or overcut them basically, and get Christian McCaffrey and drove up the price. Plus, when you have buyers, you also have, when you have sellers like we would be in this case, you have to have a buyer. And I don't know that Josh Jacobs' reputation across the league is as lofty as Christian McCaffrey's is. So I don't know that we get as much.
He's also cheaper than McCaffrey, so that's part of the equation.
Like $4 million cheaper. It's not that much.
It's $4 million. That's nothing. It's not nothing.
I mean, in the grand scheme of $290 million, whatever the cap is.
So we've seen Dave Ziegler do a shit ton of like little nothing trades, right? A 6th for a 7th for whatever, right? We've seen him do a bunch of those things. We've seen him do some big player trades, unique for Rock Yassin. We've seen him do some big drafts for players. All those draft picks, 1st and 2nd for Davante. We haven't seen him trade away a big player. We haven't seen him trade away like a Pro Bowler in their prime who's playing it great. This would be that first test. Can he get a lot of value for Josh Jacobs? Because I'd trade him for something real good, right? He's playing well right now. Season's going well. But if there's like a contender, right? There's a playoff contender that loses a running back, and they offer something big for Josh. This is Dave Ziegler's chance to shine. This is his chance to say, okay, this is me as a Raider GM getting something big for a marquee player. I'm curious what that would look like. That's the big part.
Wouldn't you then in that case be punting on the season? Like, okay, we're not going to do anything this year.
I don't think so. Not with our running back room. No, I think that, what do we think all season? That Josh McDaniels, he doesn't have a bell cow back. He has running back by committee. Like this is unusual.
Not this year.
Not this year. But that's unusual for McDaniels. So
could be the circumstance. You're trying to raise the value. I get that. I don't
remember
know
they had him as a starter in the preseason. Like they were ready to move on to raise up his value. Like they were ready to move on preseason. So again, you play the hot hand. He's still the best running back we have. All those things are still true. But can our running back room replicate what he does, or like 85, 90% of what he does? And then we get a good corner when we trade him, or a right tackle, or great draft picks? That's the math you have to do. Because it's not straight up like, oh, now we're going to lose those 140 yards rushing every game. It's like, obviously not. They're going to have someone else run the ball, and they're not going to be as good, but we'll have a committee, and hopefully they can,
Yeah, I pause because of the yards after contact. It shows you that we're not always blocking extremely well for him. It's him making that individual effort.
There's going to be pissed people no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Either we're going to get stuck paying him a fuck ton, and then he gets hurt again and we're mad. We trade him away and get some,
Well, dude, I mean, we honestly, like, we're just paying too many receiving options, money, like good money. We're paying too many. Like, name the top teams in the league. Like how many of them have receivers or tight ends or whatever who are making big money? Like look at the Chiefs. They got one guy making big money on the Chiefs, receiver wise. Okay. Then you look at the Bills. They got one guy making big money. Okay. They need like they got nobody in Baltimore making big money.
Bengals are paying.
Bengals
guys.
got one guy.
One of them's on a rookie deal.
No, both Higgins and Chase are on their rookie deal.
Higgins is still rookie deal?
Yes, he's still on a rookie deal. It's his last year of his rookie deal, so he might walk, but they're not paying. The only thing they're paying
I guarantee they will pay him. Like, there's no way they're breaking up Burrows and those 3 wide receivers.
Dude, that's
I
crazy.
don't see
But
that.
the thing is, but who are they paying right now? They're not paying Boyd a lot of money. They're not paying Burrow a lot of money. The only guy they're really paying is Mixon, right? So you have that. Who do you have in the East? We had talked about the Bills.
They paid a ton for their O-line, right? But that's,
But that's the thing is we have too many. We're paying too much money to too many receiving options. If you're going to be a running team,
and I think that was Ziegler and McDaniel's philosophy was we're going to go running back by committee, right? Cheap running back, pay the pass catchers. I think that was their plan, and that's why they're like, let's see if we can get something for Josh because he's not in our long-term plans. Now, can he change their minds this season?
You keep it going the way he's going. Yeah, he might.
Dwayne Thomas, Josh McDaniels called a great second half. Talking about the Texans game. He called a very bad first half. His timing for running screens and reverses are all off. His play calling in the first half was playing scared. He never tried to call plays down the middle of the field and seams, not until Hollins ran that skinny post for the touchdown. Is that accurate?
No, it's not accurate.
Which part?
So I don't know that he was playing scared because he actually did some things that I didn't think he should do. There was a penalty on a long run by Jacobs, by Davante Adams. I think it was a block in the back downfield or a holding penalty downfield somehow. So we had a 2nd and 7.
Cut him.
Right?
He's trash.
Yeah, right. We had a 2nd and 7, and we passed the ball. And I'm like, why did we do that? We could have ran the ball again and given ourselves a more manageable 3rd down to throw the ball. Pass went incomplete. We ended up punting. So running play that's not calling a game scared, right? That's kind of like having your script and running your plays through that to see how the defense reacts. But I don't think he was running. I think the penalties really kind of fucked us up in the first half more than anything else.
Carlos and Fuego. I agree to trade Darren Waller for defensive help or 2nd rounder. Abrams and Cleveland for 4th or 6th rounder.
If we get a 4th and a 6th for Abrams and Cleveland, oh, dude, I would jump on that all day if we can do that. I don't think we would get that, but I mean, I don't know if we get a 2nd for Waller either. You could get a 3rd for Waller. I don't know if we get a 2nd. People don't understand. Look, people don't understand this. Look, 2nd rounders, like there's like the first 10 to 15 players in the draft. The next probably to number 50, they're about the same. It all depends on your flavor and what you want. So the Raiders, a 2nd rounder is just as good as a 1st rounder.
We got to get this trading Waller thing out of everyone's mind. They just extended him like 45 minutes ago. There's no way they're trading.
He's been hurt. It's not like he's like out there slacking off. I don't think so. At least
there's no way they're trading him.
I don't
unless
think
there's
so,
something.
Man.
Unless there's something going on behind the scenes that we just don't know about. That's like just drastic, right? Unless there's something crazy going on that we don't know about. They are not trading him. They didn't have to extend him this season. Remember, he had 2 more seasons.
We talked about it. They shouldn't have done it.
None of us wanted him to. Like, okay, I'm glad we got him for the long haul.
Rory did. Rory wanted to pay him.
Great. None of us, like you and me, like, there's no reason to. Wait till next season. Like, there's 0% chance they're trading him. They just extended him. No way. Get it out of your mind. Whether they should or shouldn't is irrelevant. They're not going to. You don't do that after somebody just extended when you didn't have to.
Yeah.
All right. I will be back this Sunday, early game, 10 a.m. on the West Coast, Raiders Saints. Soto and I will both be here to do the post-game show, like old times. Any big news that breaks from now until then will be on here, as always. So keep an eye open on the Autumn Windbags. And until then, knock on wood if you're with me. Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of our video. If you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes next season and for Max Crosby to have 30 sacks, go ahead and subscribe and click the next video.